here from GDG Cloud Hyderabad. Today we are going to have a session on Firebase Extension from the Raj. Let me take a bit of your time to introduce Raj as well. Raj is an engineering program manager for Firebase at Google San Francisco. He helps engineering team to build products so that developer build extraordinary app with the help of Firebase and with their backends. Raj will introduce us to the Firebase extensions today and helps us explore how extensions can help the real developer like us to be on the upfront of the page of our development. Over to you, Raj.
Thank you so much, Pratik. That's a great, wonderful introduction. So, good evening, GDG Hyderabad. A warm welcome to all of you on behalf of entire Firebase from here, from San Francisco Bay Area. I hope you're all doing well and safe during this pandemic situation. So first of all, I want to thank Pratik and Pankaj for inviting me and providing an opportunity to talk to you, app developers. And I'm excited to share Firebase with you today on your weekend. So like as Pratik said, I'm an engineering program manager in Firebase at Google and primarily help products related to build. Like for example, if you're building apps, that's where I come in. I also started helping products related to user engagement, like predictions and A/B testing or remote config related products. So, and brief about me, I have been with Firebase for a little 2 years, and before that, I was working in management consulting, helping tech companies with performance improvement. Prior to that, I almost worked as a SWE for a long time before co-founding a startup at Berkeley. That's probably a little bit, but more importantly, I'm also a Hyderabadi. Before moving to US, I'm still Hyderabadi as well. I grew up in Hyderabad most of my college days. So today we'll cover an exciting new capability from Firebase called Firebase Extensions. So hang on to your seats, so we will go through that. So before I jump into today's topic, I want to invite all of you to join us at Firebase Live event. If you remember, during this time of the year, we usually have the I/O where we showcase a lot of new things happening at Firebase. Unfortunately, we don't have I/O, Google I/O this year, so we are going digital. That means more ways we can talk to you. So tune in to every week. Like we have this program kicking off on June 9th at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. That means 10 p.m. So it's going to be a little bit late for you. Sleep well during the day and catch us at night. And like all developers, we work pretty much in the night, right? So hopefully you join us and don't miss us. So if you can easily sign up for this event at firebase.google.com/live. And we have, I think, 4 sessions planned, ranging from auth, working with crash takes and other stuff. So a lot of exciting stuff. So let's get started. So I'm just going to take a few minutes. I don't want to assume that everybody is well aware of Firebase. So just a quick intro on Firebase. Firebase is a Google app development platform for mobile, web, and gaming apps. So our goal is primarily bring best of Google to developers like you in an app-centric way. So if you haven't heard Firebase, don't worry. I'll make sure that you know it today. So what is our mission, right? Our mission is always help you app developers succeed. In a way, this connects to our topic of the day as well. So I'll go in detail a bit later. So just a little bit of, how the world is using Firebase. So development teams all around the world, including...
If you're presenting screen, it's not being presented. If you are presenting screen.
Yes, I'm presenting. You can't see my screen?
Actually,
no, not yet.
Not yet, actually.
Okay, let me make sure that I start. Sorry about that. Can you see that?
No. Oh, it started to come in.
Up now.
Okay, sorry about that. Let's see. I'm going to quickly go back to the screen where I was showing the Firebase link so that you can see it. So this is the link I was sharing. So firebase.google.com/live. and please take a note of it, and you'll be you want to join this program. So let me jump about who is using Firebase, right? There are many companies like Slack, Walmart, PayPal, and some companies based out of India like Swiggy, and many more. And we in fact power more than 2 million apps and serve over multi-billion users across various app stores and web. So it's pretty popular among developers. So if you haven't tried it, go ahead and try it. So why is Firebase so popular and developer friendly? So primarily because we easily integrate with iOS, Android, and web, as well as a variety of gaming platforms like Unity and so forth. So you can ship cross-platform apps with very ease with Firebase as your unified backend. So, and our developers love it because we support many languages like Kotlin, Java for Android, Objective-C and Swift for iOS, and many more JavaScript frameworks like React, Angular, and so forth. It works very well with React Native and Flutter as well. So there are many more things you can do. And if you're building a nice, new, and sleek app, use Firebase. So just take a look at, in any typical application development lifecycle, you need many tools, right? So suppose you are building a brand new app or adding a new functionality to an existing app, you probably need a storage to store stuff. And and also you probably need auth to build some kind of authentication, and backend to run some cloud functions and so forth. So that's primarily your build stage. That's where I actually spend a lot of my time. And once you have app is up and running, you probably want to test your app and make sure that the app is working fine, and you're catching all the bugs, and you're releasing control to users. So that's all happens in your run phase. We pretty much spend quite a bit of time there, right? And finally, once your app is ready and you have users loving your app, you move into the next phase where you want to make sure that you are engaging the users right way, and you're personalizing your app nicely with them and trying to figure out what works for them, like experimentation. So there are a lot of products. So my goal here is like you have a lot of apps and a lot of products from Firebase that help you run through these different phases. So whatever phase you are in, I think we'll be able to help you. So with that as a Firebase is what it does, I want to jump into today's topic. So before I go into the topic, I want to take you through some scenario so to help you understand why you want to use Firebase extensions. So let's imagine that we are building a simple mobile app for recruiter. Right now, it's probably more popular because a lot of people are trying to find jobs, and because of all this unforeseen situation here. So we have a recruiter. He or she is trying to help a lot of job applicants finding their jobs. It's a very simple app. So imagine that in any simple app, what do we need? First, our recruiter wants to see the list of profiles like any other job site. So as you can see, each of this screen has a thumbnail image of the candidate, and the name and other details, and plus a couple of action items like email and chat. And for now, just assume that user has uploaded these images using a web interface or using this app, okay, to our application. Being a good Firebaser, we are going to use Firebase storage to store these images. And we also use Cloud Firestore to store any profile-related information like name or resume and other stuff. So now a recruiter finds that Amy's background seems to be very interesting. Let me reach out to her. So what do we need? We probably need an email, right? So we have an email template that's stored in Firestore. We pull that up automatically and then merge the data that we need. And all we need is he or she, the recruiter, needs to send the email to the candidate. So second set of action is done. And third, our recruiter is a little bit in a hurry, so he or she, wants to chat with Amy. So clicks on chat. And what happens? So a recruiter prefers to speak in English, and however, Amy, who is based out of Milan, wants to chat in Italian. So now you can see, right, this is getting really complex. Very simple app with 3 different screens. We want to show certain images of different sizes. We want to send an email, and we want to translate messages. I mean, it's solvable, but it's going to take time, right? So let's see what it takes for us to build this app. So very first thing is, as you can imagine, if you're building an app, you are probably targeting different resolutions, different sizes, right? Different dimensions of the, whatever the target device you're doing it. So for example, here we have a landscape. You might want to show a different size of the image, and you have a tablet. You want to show, even larger size. It is doable, but you probably need to resize these images and get them ready and before you display it for the end user. But we always have this product manager who is very in a hurry. They want to ship the products as soon as possible. So we don't have much time. And that's pretty common, right? Product managers wants to ship the products to their users as soon as possible so that users can excite and use their products. So let's see what we have to do to build this app. So let's imagine that we have a lot of time on our hands and we decided to use the Firebase functions and some image library like ImageMagick or Sharp Image Library to implement this workflow. For those who are not familiar about Firebase functions, it's nothing but a serverless framework that lets you automatically run your backend code based on the events triggered by the Firebase or other HTTP requests. So your code, whether you write in JavaScript or TypeScript, that's going to live in Google Cloud, and it's going to run in a managed environment. So you don't need to manage and scale your own servers based on the demand. Like if more people are using it, we take care of it. So what does it require? First, you need to download and configure the image library, and you need to understand how this image library is going to work. Why do we need image library if we were trying to resize the images? Next, you probably need to write a HTTP cloud function to produce the resized images. Let's say you have this big image that user uploaded, and you want to resize it to 20 by 20 or 400 by 400, whatever it is, depending upon the configuration that you're looking for. And it's not enough. Once you write the cloud function, you probably need to write another background function to trigger this, right? Let's say you are uploading these images into Firebase storage, and as soon as you upload, you want to trigger this cloud function so that it can resize it. So for that, we write the cloud, background cloud function. And then you probably need to interact with the cloud storage to write these resized images. So let's see the code snippet, how it looks. This is a code snippet for image resizing using the ImageMagick library. I'm only showing you the few lines of code here. I've excluded all the boilerplate code. But you can see this is a lot of lines of code already, like almost 20 lines. If I include all the error handling and other stuff, it can quickly go into numerous lines of code. And how about the background function, right? You generally need background function when you want to invoke the previous cloud function based on some event. So already 2 different functions to handle image resize. We're not done yet. So far, we resized it. And if you look back our workflow, we also want to send an email, right? So same story with the email also, right? Again, we need some library from email provider, and we need to write a bunch of cloud functions to send an email. And let's see what code looks like for email. So email, same story. You probably need some SMTP client or some kind of a mail service provider. You write a bunch of code and do some error handling and send it. And this code is not doing anything related to templates or mile merge, a lot of other cool stuff, right? So it's a lot of code. So, and I didn't talk about the bigger one, like translate. That means translating messages across the different languages. And you can use the Google Translate Services API, and you could do that. But it still requires writing code. So that's where we come into the picture. So these are very common problems that you face every day in one form or other, right, in your app building. So we clearly heard that this is a problem that you want us to solve. So we are trying, all we are doing is we want to help you solve these problems so that you can focus on your app and make it really cool. So what we do is pretty much we're going to take care of these problems for you by using our new cool product so that it will save you a lot of time and help you focus on your app doing stuff. So with that, I want to introduce you to the exciting new part of Firebase platform that is called Firebase Extensions. We actually introduced this late last year in FireConf. It's since been used quite extensively by app developers. So The goal here is using the Firebase theme. Like, we want to make sure that you do things fast and quick. On the same notion, what we are trying to do is we want to roll this extension so that you can build solutions at a lightning speed and release your apps to your users at a quicker speed, right? So let's take a look into what is extensions, what it does. So Firebase extensions are open source, right? If the code is available for you, you can actually take a look what it does. And it's solving common problems that you have seen earlier, like in a Recruiter app, where resizing images, sending emails, or translating messages. So what extensions does is they tie together existing products from Firebase or Google Cloud Platform, or even third-party services like MailChimp or any other services that have API. So we built extensions as a platform to bring you new capabilities so that you can serve your users better. So what extensions does is it leverages already the powerful infrastructure that we have without you need to write a single line of code. You have seen in previous screens, right? For sending an email, you need to write a code. For resizing images, you need to write a bunch of code. So we want to eliminate that. That's like a mundane, like a common repetitive task, right? So when you install an extension in your project, you provide very simple few configuration parameters so that we do the rest. So we create all the resources like you have seen Cloud Functions on your behalf, and we connect all those existing resources like cloud storage or any other GCP product so that the workflow gets executed and gets the job done. Remember, if you don't need to write the code, that means no errors, no debugging, and easy maintenance, right? Enough of intro. Let's go see how these Firebase extensions work and where can I find and how do I get started. So first, you can find Firebase extensions by just simply doing all developers do. We Google it, right? So let's say I'm looking for image resize. All I have to do is I search for image resize extension in the Google, and that will take you to this discovery page. And if you really want to see all the extensions, then you can use the link on this screen, like firebase.google.com/product/extensions. So it will show you a bunch of extensions that's already available for you to use it right away. So for example, here you see resize images that we have seen one of the problem. Translate text nicely fits into our translating messages between Amy and Recruiter. It also trigger email where we want to send emails. Suppose you're working with a large collections in Firestore, you want to export it to BigQuery for further processing, you can do that. And if you're using a third-party Bitly to shorten your URLs, you don't need to write any API integration. We help you with that, so you can do that. Okay, so let's check. Let's see how we can actually use the image resizing extension. So first thing you do is come to this page and click the See Details. We want you to see how this extension works before you install it. So once you click the details, you'll come to this detail page where you can view all the details about this extension. Okay, so it provides all the documentation you need on this extension. And I said it's open source. That means you can see the code. So here you can see that there is a GitHub repo behind this that will help you to view the actual source code on how this extension works. And you can install this extension in two ways. One is using Firebase console, or if you're like me, nerd, and you probably want to use CLI, right? So you can do both ways. So once you click, let's say, for example, we want to use the install using console. Once you click on that, it will take you to select project page because we are going to install these extensions in a project, Firebase project. And once you select the project, it takes you through a guided step-by-step flow to install this extension. So as you can see here, you can find all the details. One of the key goals when we are developing extensions platform is to make sure that it is as transparent as possible. So we want to tell you exactly how it does, and what resources it creates, what resources it uses. So in this case, if you look at the step one, the first thing, image resize, it is going to connect to your cloud storage, right? Because that's where you're storing your images. uploading your images, and then it creates new images in the same directory. And then it also says that it's going to use cloud functions. It writes the cloud function for you to resize whatever the image you're trying to do. And the next thing is it also wants access, right? I said we want to be as transparent as possible. So in order for this to work, we want to make sure that we need access to the Firebase storage. So it gives you details about what kind of access it needs and what it creates. It creates usually a service account, and then that has access to the storage. Once you give it access, then this is the most important piece while installing an extension. You need to configure it. So one of the things is we want to give a location where your cloud function that the extension is going to use will be stored. So remember, this is a parameter that you cannot change once you select. So you want to be mindful where you want to provision this cloud function. Then you have to give the storage bucket location. If you already have a project, if your project already has a storage bucket, it will populate by default. Then you want to give the size of the resized images. Let's say you want to generate a 200 by 200 size. You provide here. You can even give multiple sizes for a single image. So all you have to do is comma separated. Then you have option to delete the original file. We have seen that a lot of people, they don't want to store the original image. So you can select whether you want to delete or not. And where do you want to store the resized images? So you can provide a folder name within your storage bucket. And you can also set cache headers for various reasons. So you can give that. And then click install extension, and the rest is a magic. So it creates, provisions all those resources, and takes you into the extensions page where it will show you all the list of extensions that you can install. So let's see, once your extension is installed, story doesn't end there. You can actually manage them based on your future needs. So let's say you click the Get Started, and it will take you to the page where it will help you show all you can do with the extensions. As I shown here, you can actually see the code again here. You can view the documentation here, and it will show you the list of configuration parameters. You can actually reconfigure it, right? It's once you install it, you change your mind, you want to use a different bucket, and you can come and change here. But there are a few things you cannot change, like a cloud function location you cannot change. And there's one more thing here, extension. As we are working on these extensions, we are adding new features. So we release a new version of extension, then it will pop up saying that, hey, new version is available, you want to upgrade. So you can click and upgrade. And then the next one is, like I said, all the code, all the extensions related to code is available on GitHub and open source platform. So where you can come here and check out the code and how these things work. So this repository is at github.com/firebase/extensions. Enough of all the slides. Why don't we actually do a real live demo? Okay. So I'm going to switch. Stop. Let's share different screen. Hope the demo gods are with me today. So Pratik, you can see my screen, the console.
Actually, I guess you have to share the entire screen.
Let me share my entire screen. Okay, this is good.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I come here. Let's go to the Google, right? First, go to google.com. I want to see the translate. We'll try the translate extension. So it comes here to the Firebase. I'm going a different place. Let me try my extensions. So you can see all the extensions available here, whatever different set of extensions. This is your console, but there is another one which is Firebase site where you can see the list of extensions available. So let's go to the Firebase extension. Firebase extensions. So this is our homepage where you can see the list of available extensions. So let's explore different extensions here. So you have the resize images, translate, shorten URLs, delete user data, bunch of things. So today we are interested in doing the translate text. So I'm going to click on this. So being a good developer, we want to make sure that what we're installing. So I would always recommend you go through, understand how this extension works, and what kind of setup requirements is required. What is the billing needs for this extension, and what you can configure, what resources it will create, and how do you install this extension. So make sure that you spend good amount of time trying to understand how this extension works. So once you're good and you're clear on how this extension works, you're going to click on install in console. It takes you through the wizard. First thing we want to do is we want to select the project. So click on the project, and then it takes you through the wizard step-by-step process. So for every extension, we want to give an ID. That's because you can have the same extension installed multiple times in the same project. There are good reasons why we did that. Suppose you want one extension to act on a different bucket and another extension to work on a different bucket, so you could do that. So give the extension ID. It automatically generates ID for you. So click next. Then you want to review the APIs that he's going to use. So this is a translate. So we're going to use a cloud translation API from Google. So you can see more details like Google Translate that translates strings into your specified target languages. And it also creates cloud functions called FS Translate. This is where the magic lies. So it automatically generates the code for you. And next, and billing, right? Extensions are free to use. But if extension uses underlying any of the services, depending upon how the underlying service usage, you will be charged accordingly. So for example, this one uses the Google Cloud Translation services. So whatever the cost associated with that is what you will be charged. But Firebase offers plenty of free tier, so you should be fine if you are just trying out. So click next. Then it tells you exactly what kind of a role it creates and what kind of access it's going to use. So in this case, we're going to use the Firestore, where we are going to upload our text that we want to translate. So that's why it is asking for Cloud Data Store user access. Then configuration. So we need to select the location. So whatever the location you're interested, select it. This is going to be one time, so you can't change it later. And target languages, so English or whatever the languages you want to use. So for example, in this case, our recruiter wants to chat in Italian, right? So we're going to use IT. Don't worry if you don't know what is the code, you can just go click here, support language list. It supports a bunch of different languages. And you're going to tell like where you're going to store these strings. So we're going to create a document collection called translations in Firestore, and we're going to tell that input is the field where we're going to tell what to translate, and translator is a field where it will output the translated text. That's it. Install extensions. We haven't written any code. We have just configured it. So it's going to take a few minutes to configure because it is provisioning the services. So in the interest of time, I already have this installed. So let's go ahead and click here. So as you can see, you can actually come here. You can reconfigure the extension, whatever the languages you want. Here, actually, I added some Hindi, Telugu, Italian, so that we can see how it works. And then you can modify translations or whatever the input field. You can do that. It will also tell you what exactly this APIs and resources it's going to use or create, and the roles also. And more importantly, you need to know, like, if you're unsure how this extension works, so you can see here, there's a good amount of documentation on how this extension actually works. Okay, and like I said, you can directly go to the GitHub and see the source code for the translate text. So here you can see that it creates a bunch of code for you, and you'll be able to run through the text and see how actually the translate works. So now our extension is ready. So let's jump into our database, Cloud Firestore. And we will write, this is the translations. I'm going to write a document, which is input field. I'm going to say, hello, Amy, how are you doing? I can type, how are you? I click call. Okay, so all we did is we created this. Let's see, it automatically translated, right? This is the input message I gave you. Hello, Amy, how are you? Are you available to call? So, and it translated all these messages into different. And in your app, you're probably not coming here and typing. You probably write to this Firestore, into this collection translate, and you get all these messages. And then instantly, this is real time, right? So where you can actually send this message in your chat app directly to Amy. And that's how it works. As easy as clicking and installing and configuring and using in your project right away. So I'm going to jump back to your presentation. Same shading. Okay, so I have also told you that we can use the npm, like a CLI, to install the extension. All you have to do is run these couple of commands. If you don't have CLI already, you can use the Firebase tools, npm install Firebase tools, that will bring you the CLI. And in order to install this extension, all you have to do is use this command, Firebase extension install. Storage resize images is the name of the extension, and project is the name of the project. That's it, and it will run through a list of questions. So in the interest of time, I'll show you a screenshot. All it does is it's pretty much asking the same set of questions that you have seen in the Firebase console. Like, for example, if you see here what kind of access it's creating, then what sizes you want to create, and where it's going to create, all that stuff. So let me wrap up with so why do you need extensions, right? First of all, speed. Since an extension is a packaged solution, right? It's already packaged all the code for you. All you do is install and configure the extension. You don't need to spend time writing code or researching, troubleshooting anything. And second one is it's highly configurable and reusable. As you saw, each extension, each installation of an extension is unique. All you have to do is you specify some configuration values so that extension can work with your app. Depending upon what extension does, these values could be anything. Like in our case, translation, we gave a Cloud Firestore path. And we also, in the image resize, we gave the image dimensions and so forth. So, and it also, the third part is the integrations, right? Extensions are primarily, they are filling the missing piece in your app, right? Like if you want to send an email or resizing images or exporting data to BigQuery, all that stuff, all repetitive stuff, extensions will take care of for you. And last but not least is the zero maintenance, right? Once you install an extension, the backend, the Firebase automatically scales required computing resources depending upon the usage that you have. So you don't need to worry about credentials or server configuration or provisioning new servers or decommissioning old ones. We'll take care of that for you. So it's pretty easy. So I think we would like to know what extensions would you like? like if you have any ideas, we are in the early stages, so we are building a lot of extensions. So if you have any feature ideas, you can submit the request either using our support channels or using GitHub repo. Submit a feature request. We really want to hear from you what kind of problems that you want us to help and solve for you so that you can focus on your app. So with that, I hope you try some of these and let me know how it goes. You can find me on Twitter, as well as you can say hi on our community Slack. And we hope that you use these extensions and your projects and save time for you in building cool apps. Open to questions.
The first question was, I am a web developer who uses Firebase. Can it be helpful for me?
Absolutely. I think like we said, you can use the extensions from anywhere. Firebase works well with iOS apps, Android, or web. So, like for example, let's say your web app is wants to translate messages. All you have to do is you write to Firestore, and you read from the Firestore using the Firebase SDK, and you get all the translated messages.
Okay. Second is from Nizamuddin Muhammad. Can we use Firebase with any mobile hybrid platform, Flutter, React Native, or Ionic?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, we support firsthand with Flutter. React Native is also there. There is a good library, React Native. Our friends, Invertase, has developed the React Native SDK for Firebase. Please check it out. I don't know Ionic. Maybe Paul, do you know anything about Ionic?
I'm not really sure if I've seen anything for Ionic yet.
We will. Okay. I'll check on that, and maybe we can post on our support channel.
Sure. Then moving to the next question was from the Nizamuddin Muhammad itself. We use Firebase from our client platform to send push notification using Firebase Cloud Messaging Platform. If we want to use extensions, do we have REST APIs to use these extensions? Which language this is written in?
So I don't, let me try to understand this question. So first of all, extensions is a platform, right? So this is, like a configurable extension, like any other extensions that you have used, like Chrome extensions and other stuff. So you install it, you configure it, and boom, extensions takes care of it. So there's no need of any REST API itself to extension. But extension itself uses APIs to serve your needs. So in order for cloud push notifications, we haven't started working on it. There are some challenges with that. But you can definitely use our cloud messaging platform to send push notifications, right? But we don't have any extension that sends the push notifications as of now. But maybe something in future, we don't know yet.
So I have one sensitive questions again, although you tried explaining it before. How would I know that I'm getting charged for the extension, or would I get some prompt in my screen when the free stuff is still going on, or it will stop working? How will I know about it? Like you said, there are free limitations to it, but what are those limitations? Like for hosting, we have 1 GB or something.
Yeah, so I think, I don't have top of mind, but we have the different billing plans, Spark or Blaze. So each of those billing plans have generous limits. So I would encourage you to set some alerts. So extensions is like any other Firebase product. It's free to use to start with. But if it is consuming any of the underlying computing resources, like any Google Cloud resources, that's where charges kick in. So and it won't charge you anything until you are within that free tier, like, for hosting, whatever the 1 GB limit. So if you're not crossing that limit, you're good. But if you're crossing and your app is already growing and big and better, then that's where it gets into the billing. But when you are installing extension, we clearly tell you what resources extension is going to use, so you have clear idea of what charges look like. Does that answer your question?
Yep, that's very much. So there's one question from Shubham Kumar. Shubham, you can unmute yourself if it does not answer or you want some more clarification at the end. So he asked, I want to have a custom dashboard for my Firebase data. I want to use dashboard for analytics purpose. What is a good way to make custom dashboard for data analytics on Firebase data?
I'll take a stab at it, but first of all, you have already Firebase Analytics. If you're not familiar, that gives you access to all the information. So I would encourage you to check that out. But if you still want to build a custom dashboard, then I would probably export the data to BigQuery or someplace where you can build on top of it. So I mean, there's no end to customization there. But I would sincerely request you to check out the Firebase Analytics. But if you're doing the crash-related data, you can use the Crashlytics. So there are a couple of products that give you a lot of these dashboards, and other tools like even if you're using predictions or remote config, they themselves offer a lot of analytics information. So you'll be able to achieve most of those things. But I'm not really sure what you are trying to achieve here. But if you have a specific need, you can definitely export the data and build using any of your available tools.
Shubham, is that answers your questions, or you still have something to ask from Raj?
Yeah, it answers my question basically. So he's saying export the data and write dashboard on those data. So this is what I understood for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
So moving ahead to the next question from Rosario Fernandez. Now that Cloud Function is moving to Node.js 10 and soon we'll need to update to Blaze plan in order to deploy to Node 10 functions. What does that mean for extensions? Will we need to upgrade to the Blaze plan in order to use Firebase extensions?
So thanks for bringing this up. We have a web page. I will look it up. There is a question, entire blog dedicated to this query. Right now, we don't have any. I think Node.js 10 that's already out. Extensions are still going to be free, but the way when you try to install it, it may ask you for Blaze plan depending upon underlying services that you are using it. Remember, even when you're using Blaze plan, you're not going to be charged right away for any of the usage. You still go through the free tier before getting into kicking that charges. But I think one change that could be is you probably need a credit card in order for you to start using those Node.js Cloud Functions. Okay. Extensions right now, it's still workflow is same. If you're using any underlying services that don't need a Blaze plan, you can still go ahead and install it.
So there's one question, I don't know whether it's relevant. Hey Raj, any plans for bringing crowdsource extensions like a marketplace?
Wow. Thanks for asking. I think our end goal is that. I think we are a little bit farther away. Our vision is have a marketplace where you all can build and help each other solve the problems. We're slowly getting there, but as soon as we have more information on that, we'll definitely post on our product roadmap so you have more visibility into it.
So Paul also have mentioned few of the links for you guys. Please go through that. Although we'll try to push all these links as well in the recording. Then Bharat asks a question. Can we preview images that are added to view backend code using Firebase extensions, resize specifically?
Yes, you can preview them in the storage itself, right? When you let me share my screen. So if I go to So hope you can see my screen.
Yep.
Okay, so here, let's say storage, I'm uploading a image here, Firebase logo. And I have an extension installed here for resize images. So I uploaded it, and see, it created thumbnails folder for you automatically. And it creates these. I configured it so that I wanted it to generate 20 by 20, 200 by 200, 400 by 400. So if you click on this, it'll give you the preview of the image within the Firebase then photographer. Hope that answers your question.
Bharat, does that answers your questions? Hello, Bharat, are you there?
Yeah, we got a thumbs up from him.
Okay, that's cool. So yeah, I guess there are some suggestions as well, Raj. A few extension ideas to watermark images and import extra data in CSV.
Oh, thank you, Niranjan, for the ideas. So I would recommend you also to submit through the GitHub, so we don't lose track of it. We want more people to comment on it so that we know the demand, and so that we can dedicate time for that. So please support this through either Firebase support channel or GitHub feature request.
So there's a problem that John is facing. He's saying Firebase extension in Android is not showing image resizing. Don't we have it?
So I'm hoping that you're trying to build the Android app and you're trying to use the image resizing. If that's correct, we do image resizing is actually one of our popular extension. I'm sure it works on Android, iOS, and other apps. So can you maybe help us give more details, like what it's not working? If you can send a message to our support, they might reroute it to us, or post it on my Twitter channel. Also, I'll work on it and get you some response.
Okay, I guess Varun has some specific question which he cannot type. Varun, please unmute yourself and ask the question, and please be quick.
Hey Raj, I'm Varun from Chennai. So do you guys have any plans to have some emulators that we can build and then test out extensions with?
Oh, that's great.
Like for example,
Finish. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, that's what. Like I wanted to test some extensions like with Algolia or something like that. Is there a way that we can test it and have it ready when we get marketplace?
Yes. So we are working on emulators as well. So at this time, I don't have detail, but emulator is expanding day by day. As you have seen recently, we announced that emulator suite. If you haven't checked it out, please check it out. It's a pretty cool, slick way to test it. But extensions, it's in the talks, so hopefully you will see soon. Thanks for that.
So I guess that answers your question, Varun, isn't it? He gives a thumbs up.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
So I guess we have all the questions been answered. Do you think any suggestions that you can provide people to go with the extensions and learning for the beginners as an intermediate as well?
Yes, I think extensions are the primary goal is to simplify your workflow, right? So I would recommend you to go to the Firebase extensions page. So if you go to the this site, where this is the best place to start, and view the docs. And this docs will give you like how you can use extensions, what are its capabilities, how do you install an extension, how do you manage extensions, everything is available here. So whatever I showed you.
Your screen is not visible if you are trying to show something.
Okay, let me see. So stop. Okay, so this one. So if you come this place, so this is the site firebase.google.com/products/extensions. And this provides you everything you need to know about extensions. Like you can explore different extensions, And if you like somebody has some solution ideas, right? Tell us. You help us understand what you need, and we will work on it. And how do you install it, and all the products. And more importantly, if you want to learn more about the extension, you can click the view docs, and it will walk you through how to install extension, what you can configure, what you cannot configure. Everything is available here.
I guess Varun was having a question which he wanted to ask. Varun, please, if you still want to ask the question. Okay, I guess he's not there. Okay, thanks Raj for such an insight and the stuff. I guess he messaged the questions as well. Raj, this is the last question that we'll take. Firebase Dynamics. When the app is not available based on the short URL, it is redirected to Google Play Store. After the app installation and opening the app, I'd like to launch different activity other than launcher activity.
Okay, so I think I'm not familiar with Dynamics, but I know the team. The team is part of our extended team. I'll send this message to FDL, the Firebase Dynamics links, and see if they have any answer, and maybe I'll get back to you, John, on either to Pratik or to our Twitter. Okay?
Sure. No issues. Like anytime, whenever you feel like we can share the things, and we'll also update the stuffs in the YouTube. So even Raj can answer the questions there as well.
Yeah,
because we'll be tagging Raj as well there. So thanks, Raj, Paul, and anything else, Raj, that you want to say before we conclude?
Hey, first of all, thank you so much, Pratik, Pankaj, Paul, Rosario, and Neil, hosting me and Firebase team and providing opportunity to share Firebase extensions. It's always privileged to meet app developers face to face. So thank you so much for the opportunity. And above all, stay safe, and health is very important during this time. And while you're home, build cool apps. A lot of these great ideas come when we are under stress. So I think this is a great time for finding new opportunities. And in your journey, use Firebase, and so that it will help you succeed. Okay, and go check out Firebase extensions and make it a one-stop shop place for your needs in future. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Raj. Paul, do you have anything to add for the same?
No, just thank you for having us. It's been fun. I'm actually enjoying answering questions and whatnot. So.
Sure, thanks, Paul, for answering the question, because it helped Raj as well while explaining it. And we'll surely ping all the links that you guys have shared in the chat. Lastly, thanks to all the participants who came and the team of mine, GDG team,